back to Midday. We are here at the Kamloops Coast Hotel, and we are talking with Western Canada Theatre and about their latest production, The Buddy Holly Story. And we're at the Coast for a particular reason. We'll ask James, the artistic director, James McDonald of WCT, why that is. James, we're here. It's a bit of a venue change. We're usually at the Sagebrush, but maybe you can explain a little bit about the venue change for The Buddy Holly Story.
Sure. What happened was when we were doing our technical rehearsals for this show, our crew discovered that there was a flaw in one of the beams over the audience in the Sagebrush. So they're doing some engineering work on that to support that beam. And it'll probably take about a couple of months to do that and to hoist it up again. So, yeah, we have a venue change. We're super happy to be here. It's a great venue. It's a really good venue for rock and roll. And as people probably know, this is largely a rock and roll show. There's about 15 great songs in it. And so it's worked out really well for us. It's a slightly smaller venue, which is a bit unfortunate because we're going to pack it in. But we still have about 400 or 500 tickets left for sale for the run. So the other thing is we shortened our run a little bit. We usually would go to March 2nd. And because of other commitments, we're closing on February 28th.
Right. Well, I don't think a venue change really affects the show. I mean, we just got a sneak peek into it, and it's fabulous. We have two of the amazing members of this production with us. We have Buddy Holly himself, or should I say Nathan? Nathan, thanks for being here, and the wife of Buddy Holly, and we really appreciate you guys joining us. You did a fantastic job up there. Let's talk a little bit about this show. How does it feel, Nathan, to be in this show?
The show's so much fun. It's just a blast. I mean, both acts close with a big rock concert, and the audience goes wild for these songs, and it really is an adrenaline kick when they're cheering, and to have a full band on stage. We sing, I think, 18 songs, and they're all the classics from that time, and yeah, Buddy was a blast, and it's really fun to do.
Energetic for sure out there. Yeah. Are you exhausted by the end of the night?
Yeah, I am. But it's fun to do every time.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And what about Buddy's wife? I mean, what role does she play in all of this?
Oh, man. Well, she's pretty, I guess, essential to Buddy's whole story and kind of helping him to continue growing and to not get stuck, I guess, in someone else's vision, which... Of course, there's also the racial component of the time that Maria Elena is Latin American. She's from Puerto Rico. So that, I think the show does a great job of really taking a look of how society viewed those issues at the time without really getting too nitty-gritty about it, but it is there and it's present and it's very powerful. So I think that adds a nice little touch to the overall story.
Yeah, and this is really about, I guess, Buddy's rise to fame, right? Would you say that's sort of the premise of this whole Buddy Holly story, sort of how he became that rock and roll legend?
Yeah, well, what's amazing about Buddy Holly is that his career really only lasted 2 years. Most people know how he died very, very, very young, and it's incredible when we were exploring the show, you look at the amount that he packed in 2 years and the amount of hits that he had, but also really the effect that he had on popular music of the time. I mean, there's a lot of people, like the Beatles, cited him as a huge influence, and he really was part of that great transition of rock and roll from the African-American music to the kind of, it was all sorts of different types of music that emerged in the late 50s, early 60s, and his place in that is often underestimated. But really, when you look at the music, you go, wow, it's an incredible, it's a great modern sound, like it's a great traditional rock and roll sound, but he really, really was ahead of his time.
Nathan, I know that part of this is involving the audience in the show itself, kind of like making it feel like they're at a concert, right? Maybe you can talk a little bit about that aspect of this show.
Well, it's funny because these songs aren't my generation, but a lot of the audience grew up with these songs. My parents grew up with these songs, and so they mean something totally different and nostalgic to them. Mm-hmm. So to watch them recognize the songs and realize that song was Buddy, and they really just get into it. We have people going into the audience a bit and sort of getting the crowd riled up by the time I get out there. And Naomi plays a bunch of instruments in the show as well. So everyone who's in the show is also a part of the big, full, 11-piece band at the end. So the audience just is on their feet at the end, cheering and dancing and singing with us.
And is that what we saw? Was that part of the last sort of big song of the whole production?
We've got a couple more after that one, so it's sort of the beginning of the big finale.
So Naomi, you're not only Buddy Holly's wife, but yeah, you're in part of you're part of the band. You're playing I saw you playing the trumpet.
Yeah. I play mandolin and trumpet and sing a whole bunch, but everyone does. Everyone plays so many instruments and so many roles. So it's pretty exciting to just kind of keep seeing the same faces, but it doesn't take away from the story. If anything, I think it kind of adds to the excitement of how we're telling the story.
I agree.
So it's pretty great.
Absolutely, yeah, it is great. It's energetic, it's fun, it's inclusive. Everybody's having a good time. I'm sure you'll have the audience standing, or you already have had them standing. Of course, the Buddy Holly story is taking place here at the Coast Kamloops Hotel Theatre. A bit of a venue change to the Sagebrush, and different dates running until the 28th of February. This time around, you can get tickets through the usual Kamloops Live box office, and you won't want to miss this. This is a fantastic show, and really one that I think people of all ages will love. So make sure you check it out. Thank you very much, you guys. We're back in a couple of minutes on Midday. Stay with us.